the Celtics, they expect to be back here. That is the future in their minds, because this Tatum and Brown iteration. You know, it's funny. I tweeted this out at one point during the game because I've been getting ready for the offseason to start now. It already started, 12:01 Eastern. It started before we started recording this. Right now, teams can negotiate with a free agent. So that could happen before we wake up. But this has been such a mixing and matching process of finding the right pieces around Tatum and Brown. And I was looking back, I saw a note, and a lot of this is like a stream of consciousness that when I get these like phone calls and someone says something, it was Celtics trying to move Brogdon, ? Marcus Smart is gettable. Derek White is the guard they want to keep. And I don't think when the Celtics traded Marcus Smart, they envisioned Drew Holiday becoming part of this. They definitely envisioned Kristaps Porzingis being part of this because they very quickly turned around and acquired him from the Wizards. But to me, it's definitely like this is a win from a team-building standpoint of the fact that Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, 107 playoff games together, the largest number of games for teammates ever before they won a title. And in today's era, it's so rare that you will get that opportunity. Like, we just talked about Ben Simmons and Brandon Ingram before. Like, Ben and Joel were supposed to do that in Philly. B.I. and Zion were supposed to be that in New Orleans. And so on and so forth. And this team, you know, there were calls for them to split up the two J's. There was a point before their run to 22, before their run to the finals, where they were like 11th, was it? They were one game under 500, 22 and 23, I believe it was, in like January. And they turned that switch, and they got here. If they did not, because remember, the year before, 2021, they were a 7 seed and lost in the first round.
Yeah, they were a 500 team that got swept by the Nets, by Kyrie Irving's Nets.
By Kyrie Irving's Nets. There was a chance that this never happened if they didn't turn that thing around. So you credit the front office, which, you know, at that point in time, Brad Stevens was not the GM.
Yep.
And ownership group for fronting the bill for this. And now it's going to get really expensive. But they're going to, look, everyone is under contract for next season aside from Luke Cornett, Steve Mikhailuk, and Xavier Tillman. I am not ready to write this in stone, but I'm pretty confident Xavier Tillman won't be back. He was traded from Memphis because of impending free agency. The dude's at $1.9 million right now after being a second-round pick. Anyone of his caliber, they're asking for the mid-level. Not saying he's going to get it, but you're going to want a good chunk of it, 7+. Not in Boston's cards. But everyone,
and he'll walk away from Boston in all likelihood, and he will. Anytime he comes back into the city limits, he will never have to pay for a drink again because of what he did in Game 3 of the NBA Finals.
Oh yeah! Shout out X, the master of Sudoku, who was very lovely to me in the postgame or in the pregame locker room. And the Celtics are going to be. We talked about the free agency, starting. The Celtics are going to, I think, factor pretty prominently in this early stuff. Jason Tatum, extension eligible. Book that. Like, he's going to be signing that probably before the parade.
Yeah.
No, sorry. You can't sign. You could just start to negotiate.
Can circle in on, and, teams
are
fond
trending
of.
Towards.
Yeah, moving toward an agreement, which I believe the number is $315 million, and I don't think you're going to find a single person within the Boston city limits, or certainly within the Celtics organization, that wouldn't leap at the opportunity to lock that in and have him and Jaylen Brown, even at a combined $600+ million, locked up for the next half decade, because they're your window.
Derek White will also be extension eligible. I'm pretty confident he's going to sign that too.
Yeah.
So then you're looking at, like, Porzingis is signed now through 20. Like, all these dudes are going to be signed for at least 2 more years. Mm-hmm. And then Drew's on the books with a player option until 27, 28. Like, there was a prevailing thought around the league that last summer was the summer to go make your moves before the next CBA kicked in. Boston did that, man. And then some. Because all these teams are going to struggle. We might see someone like Gary Trent Jr., for example, sign what looks like a pretty big contract in Toronto. Just throwing out a hypothetical, an educated hypothetical for a team just to keep that salary slot open, because if you're over the cap, you then can't take back any more than you can send out. Forget about the aggregation and all that stuff that happens in the second apron. So for Boston to have all these guys already in the building and a willingness to pay the tax because you won the title. So I was talking to, I'm going to butcher Pags in the locker room. He was drenched. It was like I was talking to someone in a bar at a nightclub on the dance floor. We were like nose to nose. I was asking him all about Brad Stevens for something I would like to work on at some point. And these guys are fully paying the tax to keep this team together. So it's just to say, I don't think there needs to be any more analysis. This team won. Everyone outside of Al Horford is pretty damn young, all things considered. I mean, Drew's 34. Yeah. But the next oldest guy after that is Porzingis at 28. Horford, by all accounts, plans to come back. He's got one more year left at $9.5 million. There was some scuttle that he could retire upon lifting that trophy. Don't think that's going to be the case. So at least for next year, they've got this whole group back